Alright, I'm going to give a quick overview of auto insurance just for context. If you want to skip that, you can press Control right arrow on your keyboard now or use chapters on mobile. Then I'll explain 3 huge problems Alabama drivers are facing and how they could easily be fixed. None of these issues are contentious, partisan, or even that complicated. It's all mostly just big problems with obvious solutions that no one's addressed yet because no one's bothered to address it yet. Alabama's a so-called tort liability state, but what does that mean anyway? It just means that anything you break, you have to fix it if it's someone else's. That's it. Unfortunately, this is so obvious that no one ever bothered to make it into an actual law, so we're stuck with judges and lawyers interpreting and reinterpreting traditions from Britain. More on this later. Here's the basic types of insurance policy: liability, uninsured, and everything else. The other stuff really isn't that important. I'm just getting them out of the way first to avoid confusion. Collision, which fixes your own car in any regular car wreck no matter whose fault it was. Comprehensive, which fixes your own car if it's destroyed by no one, or God, or a deer. Excess medical, which helps you and your passengers meet your copays, pay off the checkup by the EMTs on scene, etc. There are various life cycle insurance policies to protect your family or your estate if you're disabled. Rental reimbursement so you don't have to take the bus while your car's in the shop after a wreck, yada yada yada. Anything you can think of can be made into a miscellaneous contract. Liability coverage. You have to have this as a driver. It fixes the damage you do to others. It does not do anything else. It doesn't cover your own hospital bills or your own mechanical bill. Even your own passengers usually aren't protected. There are 2 types of liability coverage. Bodily injury, known as BI, which covers your opponent's hospital bills. And property damage, known as PD, which fixes your opponent's car. Of course, you have to have them both, but there's a lot of people who don't. And yes, these are obviously usually the people running red lights. This is where uninsured motorist coverage comes in. But, heck, even if they are insured, what if they only have a $25,000 liability policy, but your car's totaled for $40,000? Well, if the other driver were responsible enough to have an emergency fund, they probably wouldn't have run that red light in the first place, let's be honest. That's where underinsured motorist coverage steps in. Both of these pay for the damages that you incur from other people's mistakes. Now, like liability, uninsured and underinsured coverage comes in 2 flavors: BI for your hospital bills, and PD for your mechanic bill, even when your opponent didn't have insurance or your bills were too big for them to afford even with insurance. Now, right now, if you want to be a danger to everyone on the road, there's one weird trick to get away with it forever. First, gift your car to someone who doesn't drive, like your great-grandmother or a relative in a coma. Put them on the title and get the cheapest insurance you can possibly find. List them as the only authorized driver. When you eventually hospitalize someone and destroy their car with your reckless driving, your granny's insurance won't pay a dime because you were an unlisted regular driver of the car. Ask me how I know. Your victim won't be able to replace his car. Your granny's rates won't go up because there was no claim against her insurance. And you won't even get a ticket for driving uninsured because now this is a quote-unquote civil matter and the beat cops are already moving on to the next issue. Insurance companies don't report authorized drivers in their electronic verification systems. Heck, most states, including Alabama, don't even require the information to be printed on the card, on that proof of insurance card. This means that if you are pulled over before actually causing a wreck for all of your reckless behavior, when the cops check your information, they have no way of knowing you're pulling this trick and no basis to suspend your license. My car is mechanically reliable. It does not leak fluids. It does not overheat. It gets 22 miles per gallon in the city. The air conditioner works. It's the summer. The heater works in the winter. The radio works. The Kelly Blue Book value of my car is $333 because it's a 2005 model. This is what the law would call actual cash value. There is obviously no way I could replace this car, get a new car this good, for that price. If someone runs a red light and destroys my car, ACV is the most I could squeeze out of them or their insurance in court. I'd be screwed. The law currently harms safe drivers while benefiting reckless drivers. But it's even worse than that. It's especially discriminatory against frugal and low-income drivers. The actual cash value doctrine means that if you're middle or lower class and living within your means, trying to improve your station in life, you automatically get less money than a luxury car owner. If you have a gold-plated Tesla, you might actually have a chance of being able to buy a reliable replacement with the ACV settlement. But the blue-collar worker, similarly situated, gets the short end of the stick in their most vulnerable hour under current law. Now, you may be scared of uninsured motorists by this point and wanting to buy insurance to protect yourself against them somehow, but here's the problem. It's illegal for insurance companies to sell uninsured or underinsured motorist property damage coverage in Alabama. The best you can get is your hospital copays covered, not your mechanic's bill. If you want to protect yourself and your ability to get to work from the 1 in 5 uninsured drivers currently menacing the roadways, you have to shell out for a collision policy, which is a lot pricier because it also insures your own car against your own mistakes. If you're frugal, responsible, young, and male even, collision coverage is a horrible deal because you have to pay the amortized cost of every one of your demographic peers doing stupid stunts and rolling their own car. 88% of responsible young drivers in the U.S. are allowed to buy the coverage they need at the price they want. Alabama is one of a small handful of shameful exceptions. There's no reason for this. Here's my soapbox. You go ahead and pause on this screen and let me know in the comments if I got anything wrong. Thanks.